Hey, here we are, back again. Okay, so we've done videos, one from the outside, video two in the house, and this is what we call a walk and talk, where I just kind of walk. I don't really check everything, but you know what, I kind of do. So here we go, 100 amp service. The electrical panel, I'm not going to open it, but there's plenty of room for more. So if there's an occasional double tap, it can easily be fixed with a new breaker. That's electrical panel that is okay. It's not one of them Federal Pacifics. Also, I do recommend a ground rod. It is grounded somewhat. The copper plumbing looked pretty good. Water was running everywhere throughout the house. I mean, the bathrooms upstairs worked, the kitchen worked. The only thing was down here on the supply. We'll get to it in a minute. I'll show you. There's some things missing. Now, the copper plumbing appeared to be good. All right, here we go. Cold air returns are not connected. There's two returns. We do recommend returning cold air returns to minimize negative pressure. These are terracotta foundation walls. They're about 8 inches thick, and sometimes there's some deflection. Now, some got a little bit of movement, hydrostatic loading, but for the most part, they looked okay. I mean, the ground soil interfacing was only like 4 feet or so, which is kind of nice. A lot of times when they're deeper, these foundations wouldn't work and they would crack. The floor, it does have some peeling paint, and this is a pre-1978 home. All right, we do have down here, we have some column structures. Okay, they look like they're pretty good, and the beam looked pretty good, unlike the beam that was in the garage. Okay, I do recommend GFIs where needed. The gas is on because the heater is running, but there's no insulation around the perimeter band joist pockets. Some of these fixtures are pull chains, and throughout the house we do need new smoke detectors. Additionally, we need a carbon monoxide detector. As I indicated earlier, the stairs need handrails, and these are asbestos, potential asbestos-containing material. So if you're going to disturb it, you need to properly remove it. Additionally, the stairs are a little bit different size. The bottom step isn't the right size, so that could create an unfamiliar stepping condition. Okay, kind of moving this way, we do have an open toilet. They removed the toilet, and here's your plumbing, which is shut, and they're missing the shutoff, and this is a problem because rats are going to come up to this thing, so you need to put a clean out here. Okay, we do have some peeling paint just from moisture intrusion. You can see the peeling paint. The copper looked pretty good. Some of it's turned off. Obviously it's turned off because there's no toilet here. Now we have an old on borrowed time furnace. This furnace is really old, and really you should have the heat exchanger evaluated. A lot of times they're cracked, or you have incomplete combustion issues. So I'm going to say you need to budget for a new one. You don't need this thing. It's unplugged. It probably doesn't work anyways. And then you can see here where that's our furnace filter held up by bricks. And we do recommend installing and connecting your cold air returns. Okay. Looking at the rest of this, we do have some older gas pipes. And here, if you can smell gas here, a little bit leaking. You can tighten that up. And you need to do a pressure test. A pressure test will let you know if there's any gas leaks. This water heater is kind of new. It's only about 4 years old. It needs to be turned up. It's kind of like on vacation mode. The wiring down here is a little bit sloppy. And we do have some improper splicing. We do have knob and tube wiring. So if your insurance company wants to know, yes, you have some knob and tube wiring throughout the house. Additionally, you have 3-wire Romex. Here we have kind of sloppy wiring. We shouldn't paint outlets. This for the washer and dryer. There's your dryer vent. Periodic cleaning. We need insulation around the perimeter. I didn't see any excessive wood-boring insect activity. I did run about 20 to 30 gallons of water, and it does drain, even though there's a new clean out that somebody installed up front. A lot of times people install clean outs because maybe tree issues, root issues, okay, and blockage. Nothing's blocked today. We can't predict the future. Here you can see the old stack. Problem with these stacks is sometimes they rust and crack in the walls. And here you can see it's a little it's not level, and they try to patch it, but it's fine. It works. A lot of our shutoffs are older. You're going to have to do packing. That looks like it's corroded and might even leak. So you may have to do packing, a new washer, or a new seat. Now, we do have older ducts, and some of these ducts have old tape, like this tape right here, that white tape. Sometimes it contains asbestos. I don't know if it's a big issue, but if you sand it and disturb it, it could be an issue. The floor had some parging done to it because of hydrostatic pressure, and so they patched the floor with, so that, you know, if you were to drag a chain over this, you'll probably have some loose section that will need topping. So you probably have to clean, chip, hammer, seal, and repaint again. All right, and the joists are pretty good. You could add joist hangers. Back then, they didn't put them in all homes. Here you can see how this wire is tapped in to the illegally tapped. That's an improper splice with the Romex. You got a bunch of that going on. And so probably some electrical maintenance will be required. Okay, and the walls I thought were pretty good. There is some cracks. Now, let's just go over everything real quick. And so the big topics in the basement are that the drain tile system is slow and sluggish. It's been disconnected. However, you know, it's not that wet down here. So, you know, maybe you could live with it. Maybe you could put an interior waterproofing system in. Maybe you could put an exterior waterproofing system in. I'll tell you what, I would not finish the walls, and I would not put carpet down here. If you store anything, it's going to have to be in containers. And you're definitely going to have to run a dehumidifier. Now, if you have ice problems, and you will, because a lot of nails are loose and the gutters need to be cleaned, and they also need to be sealed and adjusted, you are losing heat to the upper floor. So you want to repair all thermal bridging and thermal bypass. Most importantly, sealing the access panels to the attic with weather stripping. And then maybe keeping interior doors open on the first floor or second floor, only because there's no returns, and that way you can equalize the building pressure. Another thing you could do is connect these cold air returns to the furnace. The furnace, there's no air conditioning to this home. Except for an outlet up on the third floor where the air conditioner is missing. I would probably recommend, due to the old furnace, the older stove and refrigerator, to get a warranty, an appliance warranty. You could also call your insurance company and do a clue report to see if there's been any insurance claims. Okay. And as far as the basement, I think a little bit electrical painting will be fine. Once again, we have peeling paint, and all work that disturbs paint should be done by lead paint contractors or EPA certified firms. You might also want to do a gas pressure test. I think one of the fittings had a little bit of a leak. You know, probably been doing it for a decade, so it's not a big deal, but I would still fix it. Do a pressure test. Make sure if you do a pressure test that you have a plumber do it. If you have the gas company do it, they'll shut the gas off. And then you got to deal with the gas company. And everybody knows what happens when you start dealing with public utilities. You don't want to deal with those people. And that includes all of them. The water supply on the cold or the hot was turned off for the wash bucket, or I'm sorry, the wash tub down here. So that needs to be fixed. The fixture is dripping, so need new packing, a new seat, and a new washer. Other than that, I thought structurally the house is sound and stable. I thought it was in pretty good shape. I think the walls are under design, but luckily the house was built high enough to where there's not as much interfacing soil, so the structural integrity it stayed. Okay, even though there's some, there's some hydrostatic pressure. They did disconnect the downspouts. That's probably helping it because they're trying to get the water away from the house, so that minimizes the soil load. And so you will have future maintenance if you want water management. We talked in great detail about that. Anyways, so this is my final video, part 3. So part 1, part 2, part 3. Check it out. Hey, this is Marko. Hey, I do have a service online for people across the country. If you need to solve a house problem, just Google, call Marko with a question. That's Marko. And for a small fee, you could talk to me for 15 minutes. We could solve your problem. I solve pretty much 90% of them, problems people can't solve, mostly building problems, noise, odor, things like that. Additionally, I have publications and books. The book right now I recommend would be, it's on Amazon. It's also on Audible. It's called Fix Your Toxic Home and Live Longer. Check it out. I have a waterproofing book coming out in a couple of weeks, and check that out. Please rate, subscribe, and share. Hey, thanks for coming on. I'll probably leave these up for a few days. Anybody, if you have any questions, I know a bunch of you are on right now. If you want to come back to the video, you could ask me questions. I'll check them out later today or tomorrow. I'll answer all your questions. Rate, subscribe, and share.